Today, I will provide you with a response to 3 questions. Is Altseason is happening, and if what you actually have to buy, what is the sector that should be outperforming? The second one is what happened with meme coins. Why are they going down? And what will be happening with them moving further? Is this the nice time to buy, or are they cooked? Especially memes on Solana. We'll also talk about AI agents and AI meme coins out there. I will share some opinion on them and whether or not you should be buying into Fartcoin at this stage as the best digital asset ever invented by man. And we'll finalize with the question number 3. What is next? What is happening to the market? Is BTC going to $1 million and alts are just doing nothing? Is the market is entering like a multiple long-term multi-month correction and nothing is happening for altcoins? Altcoins going to zero, BTC starts to correct, nothing is happening, everything is bearish, sell everything, leave the market. And I will tell you what I've done. Because I'm logging, because I'm buying the most flooded meme coins out there. I just put $20,000 in the most flooded meme coin in the whole world out there. And I'm also longing $40 million altcoins. Crazy. In the sector that is underperforming heavily. Imagine how I'm playing this thing. Imagine who you're actually watching. Absolutely crazy. Like this video, press the like button, and let's start. Let's start with BTC dominance, our usual check of BTC dominance. I will give you several scenarios. I will actually give you only 2 scenarios that are possible in this stage. First scenario, as you can see, I have this level of 59%, right? And overview was is that we are reaching level of 59% and we're seeing the drop of BTC dominance right after. There are some projections on the web, on X, that like we are going higher and we are printing new low and new high. We're printing new high, nothing is happening, alts are bleeding. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that at all. And guys, you have to watch after the sentiment on this marketplace. So many people are turning bearish currently. It does not make sense. You're not turning bearish at the local bottoms. You're not doing that. You're turning bearish at the local tops. You're turning bearish like right here at this level, right here when alts were surging up like crazy. You're turning bearish right here, right? And you're turning bullish right now. You have to do this. Benjamin Cohen, who was right about BTC dominance for the most of the cycle, he's showing this 50.5% target. By the way, BTC dominance means how much money in the whole crypto market is allocated in Bitcoin at this stage. When this thing is going down, altcoins are sending because it essentially signals that people are getting out of the BTC holdings and entering altcoins, or people are just injecting new money into the market and they're injecting them straight right away into altcoins, right? So these are the 2 scenarios that I'm seeing. And second scenario, very interesting one, is that we are just dumping. BTC dominance is just dumping from here, right? And we finally have our Altseason. I know, guys, you heard like everyone speak about Altseason and then it's not happening, things like that. Do you think Altseason is actually happening when everyone is talking about Altseason? When retail is here and everyone is bullish and everyone is longing and everyone is making money? Nah. This is not the time when Altseason is essentially happening. This is not the time. The time when Altseason is happening is the time like right now. When everything is bearish, everyone got liquidated. I got liquidated out of 4K this day, right? But I had some limit orders. I had some limit orders that helped me to enter some positions, some more positions on this drop, right? I will share some thoughts and some of them as well. Altseason start when everyone is bearish, when nothing is happening out there. 100%, we should be mindful about it. Many alts already down 20 to 50%. Some guy in CT, we may due for a correction. Very funny tweet, 100% something that is happening. You're not flipping bearish at the lows. You're not doing that. Like most of the assets out there, I would say that they're printing generational entry points. The fact that the sentiment is at the current level, the fact that the sentiment is somewhere that we see, it's just crazy. BlackRock now holds more than 1 million Ethereum through iShares Trust. That's 4 billion in Ethereum alongside 2 billion BTC accumulated in just 5 days. Tradify isn't asking for permission anymore. BlackRock accumulated 4 billion in Ethereum in just 5 days. Guys, I don't know, like it's a very interesting situation on this marketplace, right? Bearish Ethereum, bearish. Honestly, this dip has me super bullish. Stocks tanked 4% yesterday and Bitcoin is still above 100k and bouncing. If this dip happened back in August, we would have seen a 10 to 50% drop on Bitcoin alone. We are going so much higher. A very interesting exchange between Murad and Eric Stevens, right? Eric Stevens asks, when Memecoin supercycle? Murad is saying, probably next week or the week after. I actually tend to agree with this one. It's crazy. I actually tend to agree with this one. Despite the situation we're seeing currently, despite Popcat being at $700 million market cap at this stage, this is something I'm agreeing with currently, and I'm doing some things. I just bought $20,000 of the most flooded meme coin in the recent months of the human history out there, on the most flooded chain. Stop overthinking this chart. If we get a correction in January, it would be normal. Will it be from here or 120k? Who knows and who cares? I don't agree with who cares, because if the correction will come after 120k BTC, it will be a very, very strong case for us to see Altseason before this correction will be coming. And I'm essentially, and a lot of people are betting on this price action. And I honestly think that that might be happening. BTC will go to around 110, 120k, then we'll see a giant correction, but we will be around these levels closer to the end of January, right? Until then, with this like sideways and small pumpage price action on BTC, alts will be running like crazy, and Ethereum will be breaking out as well. In 2017, when Trump last got in, we saw a 30% correction in 8 days and then rallied. So this is a question if he's speaking about inauguration or just when the results became public, but I think he speaks about inauguration, which this time will be happening on 20th of January, right? Many alts never corrected. Volatility is normal. Relax. That's interesting. I think he's talking about larger alts that had a run, something like Sui. Sui definitely did not correct heavily at this stage, 100%, but a lot of things out there, man, there are some things that are at the bottom. They are at the bottoms of July, they're at the bottoms of August 4th, they're at the bottoms of the 1st of November, and some people call them dead. I'm looking at them. Wait a minute, this isn't a generational entry, this is ALTS. So yeah, a very, very funny thing as well about current situation, right? This is something that's happening. Adding some WIF and Popcat here might be a bit premature, but confident memes come back at some point early next year, so starting to DCA in. So that's a very, very interesting take. Miles was screaming about Memecoin supercycle at the exact top, right? Right now he's buying into memes. A lot of Memecoin holders, they are looking at this situation and they will probably think to themselves like, Miles is more like a retail guy, he's late to trends, despite the fact he kind of did very, very well with AI recently, and that's why like they won't be buying. We have to check what the chart of Popcat and WIF can actually offer us, right? Some Memecoin people who were in this game for quite some time, they are very, very bearish on this situation currently. They're even saying that we should probably be going to like 300 million market cap. Right now, I think we're at around 800 million market cap at this dip. We should be going to like 300 million market cap, like even lower, maybe like 50 million, which are like crazy numbers if you think about that. But I do think that people are overly bearish at this stage. I honestly don't think that we have a lot of room to drop from here. Obviously, like worst case scenario, we can go to zero. No issues with that. Like just a couple of top holders on each and every meme selling, and it will already send most of the memes to absolute zero out there, right? Because they don't have liquidity. They have very, very low liquid assets out there. But with this thing, I do actually believe that this might be a very, very nice and even a generational entry out there. Solana is being flooded. And I personally don't think that we're seeing even $400 Solana this cycle. But still, just because people will have this thing like, well, it will probably grow up, it will probably go up, like everything is going to be all right. They will probably be buying still into these assets. And Solana memes, they will still find certain bounds from the current levels as well. I do think they will heavily underperform assets on Ethereum, as altcoins on Ethereum and some memes on Ethereum as well. I do believe they will heavily underperform, right? But it does not diminish the fact that I think currently is actually quite a nice entry for both Popcat and WIF. Following the sentiment, following everything that's happening, yeah, it's just crazy. FOMC definitely changed the short-term trajectory. It doesn't impact the mid-long-term trajectory. If you were sidelined during the last rally, this is a great opportunity to scale into quality projects you missed. I honestly think that, yeah, obviously we had a drop on stocks, which is quite real, but I do think that it was pretty much just to use manipulation on crypto to liquidate like all the final loans that are left at this stage. And I do think we are very, very soon going to be setting into Altseason, starting with Ethereum. This is something I have to do some education on, right? So this is the chart of Total 3. We can see it right here. Can you look at this chart? Can you actually see that like this chart is quite crazy? And I have a very, very interesting piece of educational material for you. I was working very, very hard to draw this chart and bring it to you, right? cup and handle continuation pattern. We've seen cup and handle happening on BTC, we've seen it happening on Dogecoin, we've seen it happening on most of Solana meme coins before they pump like crazy. Right now we see it's happening on Total 3. Exactly the same pattern. We are going into the huge cup, right? I thought that this might be the handle. It definitely was the handle, right? But we are at the larger cup and handle at this stage. And what you might say is essentially the situation that we are seeing currently is all of this is a cup. We have our resistance level at $4,000 at this stage. Oh, I'm sorry, we were talking about Total 3, so 1.14 trillion in assets except BTC. Right here, what we do see, we see our small handle appearing. Following this pattern, following this chart, we should be at the bottom of the handle, which means that we are at the generational entry point for the altcoins and for certain memes that are connected with the altcoin ecosystems that will be running on Ethereum, which means that we should be retesting, and from my point of view, we should be finally breaking out. And I do think it will happen way sooner than most people expect out there. What's quite interesting also is that it's very, very similar to the chart of Ethereum. Ethereum chart is like almost just repeats the whole thing, right? And it's interesting that we can argue that our cup and handle formation is larger on Ethereum, right? So like this is just crazy, guys. This is like generational at this stage. I also like, I don't think that our dip will last long. So like one of the bearish scenarios that I'm seeing for this dip is to go lower to $3,500, right? You know, which would be around 97, 98K for BTC. It's pretty hard to say what else we will be doing if we will essentially continue this dip, but it's too much bearishness on the marketplace currently. It's very, very easy at this stage to be bearish, right? But it's not, I don't think it's the right thing to actually do. I think that the right thing to do currently is to be risk on, is to buy into risk on assets, to leverage loan in a way that like you make sure that you won't get liquidated. So if you're afraid, just leverage loan with low leverage, you would still be able to increase your positions moving into the future. FOMC summary, no balance sheet pivot. Fed still selling assets, money printer, not injective liquidity yet. 25 BPS cut as expected. Powell shifts to signal slow rate cuts in 2025. Do you guys understand that Powell is pretty much like the largest influencer out there? So like influencers, they say different thing if they want to manipulate the price of the asset in a certain way, right? Sometimes they're bearish because they want to get like better entry, or like they need to force a certain movement on the chart for it to finally happen. And like with Powell, he's like the largest influencer in the world. And I think what they've done with being hawkish and kind of dropping the market short term, they actually removed the momentum, they removed excessive leverage on the market as well, because this is something that they essentially need for these conditions of the market to continue for a longer amount of time. Because if they will push the whole thing right away currently, it will be just too quick and it will cause a lot of issues out there. They need to have these corrections, and if they're not coming because the macro overview is bullish, everything is bullish, they're creating it themselves, right? On crypto, I think the chance just was used to liquidate people one more time, inflict even more bearish sentiment, and just send right after when everyone is out of the altcoin positions, when everyone is out of the memes, when everyone is just thinking like, guys, all the bullish news, like I'm telling you bullish news about BTC like for a week at least. In my humble opinion, most of the bullish BTC news are, in the first place, to create liquidity distribution zone, so retail will be buying to BTC, so larger capital can essentially sell smart money. I'm not talking about whales, I'm talking about smart money. And second, to get as much people possible as they can out of the altcoins. We're seeing this sentiment being present on crypto Twitter as well. What if BTC just goes to 1 million and nothing is happening and ALTS just bleed? And many people, they do adopt this mindset in the market at this stage. I don't think that this is how you make money. I don't think that this is true at this stage. I think you need to see through these messages. You need to understand why they're appearing at these stages. Because they want to make money. Because their goal is to make sure that the least amount of people possible is actually making money on this market. Imagine if my channel was, for example, getting 500 views a day. This would mean that everything I tell is probably wrong, right? Because it would mean that majority is making money. Like, it's usually not the case out there. It's not the case, right? The fact that my channel is getting like 1.5k views means that there is a higher chance that thesis would be able to appreciate and we will be able to capitalize on it because it's not popular. Something that's not popular is essentially the way to make money out there. And people even can talk about things, but it's very, very important to see what they're doing with the wallets. Wallets are showing no one is longing. No one is longing at this stage. No one is buying like memes currently. People are only selling memes currently. I just bought $20,000 worth of the most flooded meme coin in history in the last several months. Most vampire attacked meme coin, right? We will have to talk about this as well. Crazy things are happening. Short-term panic today due to uninformed investors. I do believe that this is just a manipulation that market makers used to inflict a bit more of this narrative, of this sentiment, and also liquidate all the final longers that are left at this stage, because they don't want to let anyone make any money on leverage. Long-term bullish. We need slower rate cuts to signal delayed recession. Fast cuts are bad. Yeah, 100%. I agree with this. I explained this to you already. Inflation will still be high, which is good for risk on assets. Yeah, last run in crypto was purely based on the inflation growing, and that's why risk on assets were growing as well. I swapped all of my positions to USDC before Christmas. I don't think there will be much volume during the holidays. At least that is what happened last year if you look at Popcat and WIF. I might be wrong, but I would rather be safe than sorry. There's always a new opportunity. Probably going to repeat stuff around the beginning of January. Thor from Cyberfrogs NFT also calling for lower sol on the day one chart, so we'll beat around the call spot. Didn't think that would be happening, but from the looks of it, it is. If I listen to myself, I would just hold. But that has never been a good decision in the past. This is very, very important. If I listen to myself, I would just hold. But this had never been a good decision in the past. Market teaches you habits that are wrong just because the next shift in the market. Thus far, we've seen that heavily taking profits on the local highs in terms of memes and a bunch of assets out there was a winning strategy. I do think we are entering the market conditions where holding will be yielding more results. And we're already seeing it with the assets that kind of entered these type of conditions sooner, for different reasons out there, right? So this is the thing that I'm seeing. You are like Pavlov's dog. And market makers, there's actually Dr. Pavlov, right? But he's teaching you habits in a way to make you poor, right? So you would hold when you actually need to sell local tops, and you would sell local tops when you actually need to hold. This is something I'm seeing 100%. Going to be emotionless this time and go through the whole stress-free. Cheers, lads. I don't think he's going for the whole stress-free because I think everything will be pumping. He'll be stressed as fuck because he sold like a pussy. So this is definitely something I'm seeing, and this is the narrative that is present out there. Obviously, I have a very, very huge chance of just being wrong, or just get liquidated, like my assets not showing anything and like just not doing well. I'm not willing to bet on the fact that we will be doing nothing. I'm willing to bet on the fact, and I'm betting on it, that we'll be pumping. We'll be finally seeing our alt season, and this is the best time from my point of view. When people like, they sold because they need some money for presents, like they sold because, I don't know, like something is happening and they want to chill and stuff, and I think we'll be pumping. BTC dominance is there, sentiment like just the, like guys, I think we have to appreciate the craftsmanship of sentiment. Such a work of art, it's crazy. And in the process of doing that, they're also making money because they're liquidating a bunch of people. Crazy. Breaking, the S&P 500 falls sharply after the Fed cuts rates by 25 basis points but raises inflation forecast. The Fed reduced their outlook from 3 to 2 rate cuts in 2025 and raised inflation expectations from 2.1 to 2.5. Inflation is back. Who gives a shit? It's all a manipulated garbage. Memes from all-time high. Peanut 65%, Popcat 58%, WIF 51%, yeah, a bunch of them 30 to 50 to 60%. End of an era or a massive opportunity. Interestingly that, yeah, Miles was screaming about memes at the exact local tops, right? And I was saying that, guys, just be careful with these things. I am expecting a breakout from Ethereum to happen. A breakout of Ethereum to happen should be bringing liquidity into Ethereum meme coins out there. And I'm also expecting layer 2s to get a bit as well. So I'm essentially expecting liquidity inflows into the layer 2s out there as well. Sol memes, I expect a bounce, but I don't think that the bounce will sustain. ETH memes, the ones that have pumped already, they will underperform heavily, and people will just be very, very salty by the end of the move that they were sitting in them. It's very easy to sit in memes that have pumped already. You feel nice, everyone is talking about them, like it's nice. try buy something that is like at the bottoms, nothing is happening, and see for yourself. It's crazy. Very large FOMC moves such as today's often carry into the weekend and result in max panic on Monday. Don't think it's happening. Of course, anything can happen. It's markets. Although I do have a projection of like ETH going to 3,500, 97, 98k BTC. I'm not buying into that fully. I would put it a 25% chance happening at this stage, just because people are too bearish right now. If, for example, tomorrow the move were to retrace in full, that would be a major bear trap and we should fly higher. Also, next week is Christmas, which may change things. In my books, BTC bouncing off 98 and so of 195 would be ideal. Exactly the targets that I'm essentially sharing. I was not sharing the target on Sol, but BTC I shared several times. It's 97 and 98. I have similar type of data, which would mean that we are due for some more pain, although it's only like 2% at this stage. It's not that much, right? And then up only into integration. I agree with this 100%. I do think it will be up only into integration 100%. Euphoria and leverage have been largely flushed out from market already, which should minimize the downside. 100%, but when euphoria and leverage is flushed down, you should experience euphoria and under leverage. You should be doing that because you will do it anyway at the tops. Do it now. You will make more money, trust me. I'm still max long spot, but have partial short hedges on. Bigger picture unchanged in his opinion. The US economy is in great shape, Trump is coming, and now there are less cuts priced into 2025. Good luck trading. And this guy is essentially sharing that PC data Friday could turn it right back around. And the reason, like, I don't care about like any type of this data. I care about how market makers are using this to manipulate the sentiment and manipulate the market. And like 100%, I'm telling you, market makers are sitting on the course right now. They're just laughing from manipulating this market, from the fact that some type of data came out and they just liquidated anything. They're just dumping all the assets. At the same time, they kind of see strong support from certain levels out there because they don't want to give a large amount of time for a lot of people to consider buying into this market, into these conditions. They do not want to give these type of prices. They need to inflict a nice bearish sentiment and they need to pump higher soon. They don't need to give us the option to buy at these lows because yeah, it's just not something that should be happening. So yeah, this is my overview for today in terms of the memes and altcoins. To respond to all of the questions, let's actually come through them one more time. Ethereum, I do believe the worst case scenario is it goes to $3,500, right? As the last bit of drop. Personally, I'm not putting high chance on this one at this stage because I do think that the sentiment is too bearish currently. And a lot of people, they will buy because they sold. That's not something market makers would essentially want to do. I believe we should be breaking out 4K quite soon, and we should be going to the price. Even price discovery before January 20th, imagine that. Might be happening. Price discovery would essentially mean that ETH is higher than $4,800. ALTS will be sending with Ethereum. Most flooded and non-obvious narrative for ALTS, my opinion, is gaming, crypto gaming, because it's non-obvious better play to Ethereum because the largest asset in gaming, they're actually from Ethereum ecosystem, right? IMX, which is I think the largest one at this stage, is the layer 2 for Ethereum out there. Chart looks kind of nice. Like the only issue I see is that a lot of alts, they kind of want to sweep the liquidity back at the lows, right? But I can show you one alt that showed a reversal pattern on the low time frame already, which is Mavia. This is something I absolutely love and like. This is actually the only one I'm looking at this stage. I got liquidated multiple times. We'll see what will be happening, right? So we swept this liquidity from this level right here, right? Which is absolutely nice, absolutely something that we won't want to see. And we formed a reversal pattern right here. So when a lot of alts, they essentially want to go lower to sweep this level of liquidity, Mavi already did that. So maybe it is something, maybe it is nothing, right? We'll see. It's just a very, very nice local move on this one, and very nice long currently if you would set your stop losses below like 116, right? Which is quite a nice long, right? It's like how much? It's 10x leverage, like it's essentially a 10% stop loss from these levels out here, right? This is the one thing I'm seeing. So what I'm doing, I'm logging absolute shit coin, a very, very low cap coin, which is heavily flooded in the narrative that is heavily underperforming and heavily flooded for the whole year, right? in the expectation of the pump of Ethereum and breakout reaching Altseason, when everyone is bearish and everyone is flooding this. Let's see how it will play out in 3 weeks from now, right? Second thing I'm doing. So what people bash on the most, what people don't care about the most at this stage. People don't care about Ethereum. They finally come to a conclusion that Ethereum is a shitcoin, nothing has happened with Ethereum. Despite the fact I showed you that BlackRock accumulated $4 billion worth of Bitcoin worth of Ethereum in 5 days. That's more than they accumulated BTC, right? What is the most unsexy thing that is happening around Ethereum at this stage? Layer 2. There is like too many of them, bunch of them are VC scams, nothing is happening. What is the next most flooded thing out there? Meme coins. And because they are not doing very, very well currently, right? Most memes, they're just correcting, nothing is happening. What is the most flooded layer 2? Most flooded layer 2 is Blast, because people had large expectations about it, nothing happened, right? Most flooded layer 2 at this stage. Price suppressed, like by far the hardest in comparison, right? At least people care about it to a certain extent, because the worst case is when no one cares, right? Most flooded and vampire coin end on Blast. So we just went through 5 quick walls of FUD and essentially common opinion on these things, right? What I did this morning, I just want to share it. What I did this morning. This is my transaction. This is me buying $20,000 worth of End on Blast 3 hours and 42 minutes ago. Why? Because I think it will outperform. I think we formed the bottom. I think I bought the absolute bottom at these levels. And it's just giant wave of FUD that is happening currently. And I know about some positive things that should be happening on Blast in general, some announcements and things like that, but they're quite public. It's not that I have some insights; they're public, right? You can check it on the Pacman page. You can check them on Blast page as well. So do you understand what I'm doing? Do you understand that like essentially strategy that I'm using, it just doesn't work for like 99% of people out there. Like you won't be able to sit through it. And there's a very high chance that I will like be wrong, right? Because there are a bunch of assets out there that would be pumping like crazy, like nice, like not like crazy, but maybe like 2 to 3 to 4x, right? Maybe you can buy into something like, well, I don't even know, because every garbage that is being pushed by influencers currently, like it's pumped already. Like it will be underperforming heavily, moving further into the more risk-on scenario. Liquidity from that things, it will be used to pump other assets. I'm thinking about gaming coins currently, like garbage that is being pushed by influencers like Prime, like Beam. It's not garbage. It's like it just pumped too much because they obviously paid influencers, and influencers, they were essentially pushing these things hard, right? But they will underperform heavily, and the liquidity from them will come into more risk on things, right? Same thing with Blast and End on Blast. Yeah, it's just crazy. I'm not just talking the talk. I'm walking the walk, and you can see everything that I'm showing. And it would be very, very interesting to check in 3 weeks. Maybe in 3 weeks, like I come back, End on Blast is even lower, no one cares, and I get liquidated on my Mave loans, right? And like it might be the case. And like we are lower, BTC is like, I don't know, 90K. It all like crashes and things like that. I expect different scenario. I'm planning for this different scenario out there, and I'm transparent with these things as well. I'm not sharing like full thesis on End on Blast currently, like all the updates. I'm just sharing what I've done myself essentially. And the price from 20K buy, price didn't move like at all, which is interesting. I do believe that the reason for it is because when too much people are essentially selling in the liquidity pool, they have too much tokens, and before the price would be able to move like a certain substantial amount, these tokens in liquidity pool, they need to be bought up, right? On coins that have nice liquidity. So this might be the case because like I bought it like 255, maybe 2.5 market cap. Right now it's 2.6, so it didn't move at all, especially with the fact that I shared it on my X. So I do think you're seeing the full overview and you're seeing the degeneracy of my actions. Let's see if they will yield in 3 weeks from now. Thank you very much for watching this one. I will be seeing you tomorrow. Stay healthy and rich. Bye bye.